will start right now. Super excited to be here visiting with Chris Hawley, and Chris is someone I actually met online on Facebook. He's actually on Twitter as well, and talk about an inspiration. Chris, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about your incredible journey. You actually lost over 200 pounds. Tell me a little bit, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, so I've lost 200 pounds. I've been able to keep that weight off for a little over a year and a half now, which, you know, for a lot of people, it's hard because you go through the roller coaster. I went through the roller coaster when I first started. I've been trying to lose the weight since 2006. And so once I lost the weight, I kind of just was like, well, what can I do now? And started running 5Ks, then built up to triathlons. And actually now I get to do the Ironman World Championship next year in Hawaii.
Epic, absolutely epic. That, and I want to get to that because that is like, you know, pipe dream. I'll never be able to quite get that good because I have arthritis, but that is just freaking unbelievable. Let's talk about the hardest part. I did read a little bit of some of your information, but let's talk about getting started. What was the very hardest thing for you that made you get started? Why don't you tell everybody else? I read a little bit, but what a moment. What was your moment?
My moment was just, you know, I was an overworked IT guy, and I went out to party all the time. I drank, I ate excessively, whatever. Like I still have a sweet tooth. I love brownies and cookies, and I have to kind of stay away from them now. But I really just let loose on the weekends. And one day I woke up in somebody's house, I can't remember, looked in the mirror and totally hungover. I was like, you know, I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like looking at myself in the mirror. I didn't like that I was starting to come to terms that, hey, I had a drinking problem, I had an eating problem, because I would always eat out of convenience. So it was going to fast food. My coworkers saw it. My clients at the time saw it. Everybody saw it but me. And just that one moment waking up is all of a sudden I saw what other people were seeing, and I was like, wow, I don't like that person. And that was the hardest thing, of kind of accepting all that and realizing it. But it was also like the first step to, okay, I have to change. It was like my low. And that's what drove me to start making the healthy choices of just getting outside and walking, saying no to fast food, and learning how to cook. I was in my 30s, didn't really have a clue how to cook, didn't know what I was doing. So it was
you obviously weren't like, time then, right?
Yeah. And so I started to have to reprioritize my time. So I started finding easy dishes to make that took 5 minutes. And
not Kraft macaroni and cheese, no offense to
that. No easy microwave dinners, no Hungry Man dinners that you pop in the oven or microwave.
Right. Yeah, you're talking full, fresh, whole foods, fresh foods from the outside of the store.
Yep. So I didn't, I kind of had we'll say a cultural shift there too, where, you know, I was in the Philippines, half my family's Filipino, and I noticed like every day they go to the store, they get enough food for that day, and then they cook it. So I started doing that, of going to the grocery store, buying the food that I know I would eat that day, and go home and make something with it. And
you live in San Diego, where it's a little bit more common, the fresh fruit and vegetables are kind of right up and down, so it's a little bit easier for you probably, right?
Well, I started at our supermarkets, Ralph's, Vaughn's, Albertsons. I think on the East Coast it's like Kroger, Piggly Wiggly. So I started there, and then as I got more comfortable with it, I started going to like the farmers markets. And now I experiment in the kitchen all the time. And sometimes my fiance likes it, sometimes she doesn't.
I'm sure she tells you either way, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I love that. And don't you find out, I don't know about you, but for me, actual food tastes better now. So instead of eating, you know, lean cuisine or things like that, I can actually eat whole food now and actually enjoy the taste so much more. I can eat an avocado or some asparagus or an orange and really appreciate the full flavor of what I'm eating.
Yeah, it completely changes your palate when you're used to McDonald's, Burger King, or even the restaurant foods like going to Olive Garden, or there's a lot of so-called healthy fast food chains out here. But when you make it in your kitchen yourself and it's actual whole foods, no chemicals, it brings forth a whole different flavor. And um,
You know what's going into it too, so it's a lot healthier for you.
yeah, you're able to know definitively what's in the food that you're putting in your mouth. And not only does it taste better, but then you start to feel better. And some of those like aches and pains or that blah feeling that you might get when you wake up in the morning, those are gone. Or, which all leads to kind of when you're trying to lose weight, you become more active. You start feeling better. You start feeling better about yourself. And then you just get out there and kind of just get the work done.
That's one thing I want to drive home to people, especially, with my audience being the heifers. A lot of people they're sitting around and they're aching and they have a lot of pain, and, they might be carrying a little bit of extra weight. And when I tell people, and you might agree with this, I'm sure, is once you start moving, once you actually begin to do your moving, things start to loosen up and you feel a little bit better. You start eating healthier. And like you did, you start walking every day, even a little, you will start to feel better. It takes time, but you're living proof. You've lost how much total weight have you lost now?
I lost over 200 pounds. I stopped counting the scale when it was over 380. And that was when my pants were about 56, 58. And at my largest waist size, it was 62.
Yeah, that's like the big all store kind of guy. Well, you look great now. I mean, we'll get to that because I'm sure
Thank you.
everybody's going to want to talk about that. Let's talk about. I want to ask you on days where you're discouraged, on days where you said you have a sweet tooth. You wake up, you accidentally ate 2 cans of brownies. I don't speak from experience personally. What keeps you moving on days where you wake up just in a mood? You're discouraged, your PMS, not really, but what keeps you moving on days where you just don't feel like doing it?
So a lot of people listen to workout music or music that gets them going. I actually listen to like mantras or motivational speakers. Like one of my 2 favorites is Eddie Pinero from was it Your World Within on YouTube, as well as Les Brown. Some of the motivational speakers that have been mashed up on YouTube, I'll convert them to MP3. And I listen to that the first thing in the morning. When we wake up, our brain is just primed to start the day. So if we're able to start that day off with positive reinforcement, positive affirmations, then it's going to help set that tone the entire day. So I'll wake up, I'll listen to something from one of those, and I relate to something that they're saying. Kind of like the power of the human mind. If we wake up, we're discouraged to go do something, then we're going to be discouraged that whole day for everything that approaches us. So by just choosing that little mindset, I'll get my mind in order. I'll go out for a quick, even 10-minute walk, kind of recenter myself, kind of get my mind right, and then my day just kind of falls in order.
So you do what you can when you can in terms of making excuses. There are none. You wake up, you listen to your mantras, and you head out for a 10-minute walk just to get your mind on straight, just to begin.
Yep. And I work from home all day, so I sit at a desk all day, and sometimes you have to get away. Yeah. Take 10 minutes for yourself. Go do something. Go walk. Go for it. Some people like to do push-ups on their floor. I'm not a push-up person. I'd rather get outside. But once you get that blood flowing and those endorphins start to go around, then you start to feel motivated and you feel a little bit more powerful to take things on.
And I bet people around you too, people who, even though you work from home, but people who you're encountering on a daily basis, I bet, especially those people who know your backstory, but even people that you encounter out and about, I bet they feel motivated just watching you. You've got energy, you've got a pep in your step, you smile. I bet people, that energy kind of.
Yeah. Back when I had an office to work in, people would see my weight loss and I would inspire them, even if it was just going up doing a quick lap around the building, and then I'd go back to doing my work. And even now, I still hear from some of those people that still follow me on Facebook. They'll tell me, hey, you inspired me to do this today. You inspired me to change my eating habits. And, that's not stuff that I set out to do, but when people that I don't even know tell me that stuff, it's inspiring. I
How
absolutely
empowering
love
is
it.
that for you, especially knowing that because you got up and handled your shit, essentially, all of a sudden people take notice and they're like, well, if this guy almost 400 pounds can do it, why can't I? That's powerful. The power you have to change people is commendable. It's amazing. And I love that you're taking the time to share that with us.
Yeah, and looking back now, where so many people have this, we'll say, disenfranchised look of, I can't do that. And it's not that you can't, because other people are out there doing it. You've lost weight, I've lost weight. I know people who are losing weight. It's possible. So if we can do it, you can do it. And sometimes we just have to get out of our own way and stop putting up those barriers, and or just stop being afraid of it and take that first step.
And crush your fear. What I always tell people is your body is going to follow your mind. So
Yep.
for me, it was, I just decided that's it. I'm going to do it. It was a very quiet decision. I didn't shout it from the rooftops at first, but like you, people began to notice. I want to know though, Chris, who inspires you? You've obviously walked this journey now, you said for over a year. Who do you look to? I mean, obviously you're getting ready to do Ironman. That's huge. Who do you look to as your inspiration? Maybe not on your days where you're dark, but just generally, who do you look to as an inspiration? Besides me. I mean, really.
I look towards like challenge athletes or people who are fighting diseases that I don't have. I find that we're very fortunate. We, for the most part, we're not fighting like cancer. We're not fighting Crohn's and colitis, which I just got through raising money for to do an Ironman.
Challenge.
We also have all four limbs. We're not blind, so we really have no reason to not be able to get out and achieve what we really want to do. So the people that inspire me that are those that have those obstacles, but they find ways around them. My friend Amy Dixon, who happens to be blind, she's a blind triathlete. She was on the road to Rio. She's outstanding, and she inspires me just by being able to overcome something that I will never understand. And those being able to do that and see what she's done is just amazing.
One of the organizations I support is the Achilles International organization, and they do guides for blind runners. And do they work with triathletes as well?
I don't know. I haven't really researched a lot into that. I'd love to be a guide for a blind triathlete. I'm not a fast runner, but I can swim and bike like no tomorrow.
Wow, see the swimming. Yeah, so I want to get to that in just a second. I wanted to talk about it. You did have an excerpt from a book that was published, and one of the statements that really stood out to me, you were talking about a moment where you realized everybody was looking at you in your fat rolls because you were overweight. What a powerful defining moment, especially as for me too, someone who had been overweight my whole life. Feeling when you go to the gym and when you go to work out, or even when you go to a 5K and you feel that everybody is staring at you like, look at me, I'm so fat, why am I here, I'm overweight. I wanted to say one thing, and I want to see if you disagree or agree with me, but most people are too into themselves to really even be looking at you saying, dude, check out the heifer over there. What would you say to people who are afraid to go to the gym, people who are sitting at home saying, I want to go, but I'm really worried that people are going to make fun of me? What is your advice for those people who just need a little bit more encouragement to get out of the house and get it done?
I thought that my biggest thing is get out of your own way. There's going to be people there that might do that. We can't control how other people are going to, look at us, but we're the ones who got up, we're in the gym, we're trying to better our lives. And that's what we have to focus on, because the alternative is we could be sitting back at home, not doing anything, And we wake up in the morning, some of us, we have to take a cocktail of pills because we've got all these numerous health issues versus, getting up there, you get into the gym and yeah, it's going to be tough. I remember being on a treadmill and, feeling my weight bouncing up and down, and couldn't even run for less than 10 minutes before I had to stop and walk. But, you're in there for you. You're not in there for them. You're in there for you.
That's great advice, and I think that's true. I started, you may or may not know, but I did my weight loss, most of it through Jenny Craig. I lost a little bit on my own, and then I stalled out. I did Jenny Craig, and I remember showing up at my first spin class, and my butt was like this big, and the seat was this big, and I thought, shit, this isn't going to go well. You know what? I showed up. I got up. I went every single day, and the spin teacher told me, he said, I figured that after the first time you would never come back. And I thought, oh no, I like a good challenge, bro. Let's bring it on. And it was amazing. And that was kind of how it happened for me with my first triathlon too. It was a big challenge. Just wrapping up,
well, I kind of wanted to add another thing off of that too, is that, when you're in the gym and you're in there every day, like you're in that spin class, there's going to be more people coming up to you, kind of giving you encouragement and cheering you on, than the people that are kind of in the back, kind of, oh, well, that guy's so big, he can't even run for 10 minutes. So for that one person, you might get 15 or 20 other people saying to you, hey, you're doing a great job getting in here. And, that was one thing that kept me out of the way, that kept me going to the gym, is there was one guy, we were in there at the same time. He was just ripped, bodybuilder. And we didn't talk. I just kind of kept to myself. He came up to me one day and he's like, you know what? You're the one that inspires me, because you're in here against all odds doing what most people don't want to do. So yeah, by all means, it's those positive interactions that far outweigh those negative ones.
Yeah, and you really never know who you're inspiring. You might be, in your own mind, the largest guy at the gym, but you might be inspiring the woman who is skinny as a rail next to you, who's fighting bulimia and depression. She might look at you, and because of you, she might come back tomorrow because she feels like, well, if you're fighting this battle, I'm going to fight it alongside you, even though you're you just never, ever know who you're inspiring, for sure, right?
Absolutely.
And so I want you to tell people, because now you're a nutrition coach and you swim coaching, and so tell people a little bit about what you do, because I know we have a lot of heifers out there who might be looking for somebody virtually who can help them out. Give me just a couple key points, and I'll put your contact information on our blog. What can you do for people?
Yeah, so what I do is I tend to lean towards the low carb, high fat ketogenic diets for most people, because most people, myself included, I like to call myself a desk jockey all day, where I sit down at a desk job. I type away at the computer or do some type of computer work. So I'm sitting down, and most of us, we don't have the needs for what our dietitians, and well, I shouldn't say that because that might get me in trouble, but for most of what we eat, which is very carb heavy, we don't have a need for it. And now more and more research has come out that eating healthy fats with a lower carb diet is far healthier, not just for weight, but improved blood sugar, improved cholesterol, and not to mention we function better. So kind of what I do is help guide people who are not just looking to lose weight, but overall just feel better. Because when you feel better, the weight's going to come off because you're off doing more stuff you enjoy. So I take a lot of the mass confusion, thanks to the so-called experts from every direction saying this bad diet's good, this bad diet's better, this bad diet's good. So there's a lot of conflict.
Watermelon diet, that's my favorite.
I could eat watermelon all day long.
I'm just saying, it's okay.
Yep.
So you can help people remotely in terms of they can contact you and you can help them with their nutrition plan and some exercise pointers.
Yep, I customize people's nutrition plans to help them lose weight, feel better. Working with a lot of type 2 diabetes people who want to improve that because they don't want to take all the drugs that mainstream medical professionals like to say, oh, there's a drug for that, there's a drug for that, because that's scary. If you listen to a drug commercial, the 5-minute long side effects.
Sudden death may occur.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And what we'll do is we'll put your contact digits in the blog post, and if people are interested in your services, I'll put your email and your website so people can take a look. And I just, one final question in terms of being a part of the heifer community, we call them a heifer. I know I'll be here all week. How do you identify? I mean, I really am excited that you've taken this time. How do you identify in terms of this heifer community? You know, we talked a little bit about our philosophy and how we're kind of go-getters. Do you find that mold?
Yeah, the more in between what the recovering food addict and exercise enthusiast, because when you do an Ironman, you have to learn how to love exercise because it consumes a vast amount of your week. Yeah,
definitely. And achieving an Ironman finish is the most epic thing. Is all the respect because that's just crazy cool. I did my little triathlon and it almost killed me. So we're not gonna talk about that. I didn't even get a medal. There was no
what's
medal.
that?
There was no medal at the end of my triathlon.
Well, what kind of race was that? Who doesn't serve a medal at the end of a triathlon?
Lake Havasu triathlon. Not that I'm bitter, but
I'm not going to do that one.
Don't. I made a blog post about it. But anyway, so I really appreciate you taking this time. Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, you've been such a great inspiration, and wow, look at you now. I mean, wow.
Yeah. So closing things off. So I did my first triathlon back in 2010. I was a swimmer back in high school, and I thought anybody could ride a bike. All I had to do was suffer through the 5K. And did it at over 300, I think I was over 320, 330 pounds at that time. And in 6 years, got back into the sport. I did my first Ironman. Yeah, first Ironman back in 2013. And I
don't see the medal behind you. It's got to be close by.
I've got a wall of medals over here, but my Ironman ones are in the living room because that's just where I like to put them so everybody can see them. But I just got done doing Ironman number 3 back in September. I've got Ironman number 4 in 2 weeks.
Epic.
And so, going from somebody who thought it wasn't possible, I saw people doing it, regular people doing it. So I got out there and did it. And like I said earlier, next year I'm going to the Ironman World Championships.
Crazy.
So yeah, I can't wait. I've been lucky enough to work with Smile Train as the charity partner. So I'm raising $50,000 to help children with cleft lip and left palate. And it's a life-saving surgery. Many people, we take our smile for granted, our mouth. And, when we look at people, we like to smile. But we change these people's children's lives by fixing their cleft lip. So we give them back their smile. We're able to improve their quality of life because now they can eat and drink again, so they're no longer malnourished. And if you'd like to donate, you can do so at 50ktocona.com.
I love it. This has been amazing. What an inspiration you are. And I hope people watching are inspired by you. I know I am absolutely inspired, and I will keep going, and maybe one day I'll get a 70.3 sticker on my car. So
yeah, it's that, or bump up to an Olympic distance, and then you're gonna find out. I wonder how much I can do.
I like pain.
Yeah. I've recently looked at a trans-American bike race going from Astoria to Oregon all the way out to the East Coast. So
incredible. I love your bike collection behind you too.
That's just a couple of them. There's more that you can't see.
That's amazing. What a great story you have. And thank you so much for sharing it with us. You're just an inspiration. And
thank you.
Contact digits down for people, and I want you to send me some before pictures too, so we can really show people. It all starts right here. You can do it.
It does. And once once we're able to get out of our own way mentally and change our mindset from negative to positive, then what we can accomplish. We don't know what we can until we do it.
Amazing, amazing. And if you can go from 380 pounds to Ironman World Championship, I would challenge many people watching that they could run a 5K or they could get off the couch. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
My first K took me over an hour. Or sorry, my first 5K took me over an hour. I couldn't run more than about 20 feet without having to walk.
But you did it. But you did it. That's just awesome. I'm so inspired by you. Thank you for spending your time.
You are welcome.
With us, and I can't wait to watch your journey through to Ironman again. Wow. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But okay. All right. I'm going to end here, and I'll get your digits down there, and everybody wave bye to Chris. Bye. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.